So I've got a couple of marking aids here. So there are lots of different types of marking aids available to buy, and some are really good for a lot of projects, but not for others, and vice versa. So I'm going to talk you through some of the very common ones. So this here is your classic tailor's chalk. And it comes in sort of triangular shape. Sometimes they're square as well, sharp edges, and these can be used to mark your fabric. If you've got a ruler to hand, you can use the edge of the ruler to guide the chalk, but very common and used by obviously a lot of seamstresses and tailors. Okay. They are, however, they can be a little bit messy. So what you can also find are dressmakers' pencils, which are essentially tailor's chalk but in pencil format. So the chalk is a little bit more condensed and is less likely to come off and put dust all over your fabric. This all washes out, so you're not putting anything permanent onto your fabric. This here is another variety of tailor's chalk, but in almost like a rotary pen format. So this has a small blade that runs around the tip of the nib and gets you a really sharp line. Again, these can be a little bit dusty, however, get you a really clean, accurate line, and very useful for marking out things like pleats. Okay. Here there is a fusible ink pen. So this kind of almost looks like a ballpoint pen, but when you apply heat to it, it will completely disappear. That said, there are some fabrics where it will mark and leave a residue. So just be very mindful of that and always test it out before you apply it to your fabrics. There are limitations to this type of marker, because if you use it to mark out pleats, for example, and you are pressing as you go along, you can very easily press out your marking lines. So just be very mindful. They're great, but not good for every project. I've got a standard pen here, which is quite useful for marking any of your patterns. And I've also got a mechanical pencil. So a mechanical pencil is a must when you're sewing, simply because you may need to taper your patterns or adjust your patterns. You might not want that to be a permanent fixture. So therefore, having a mechanical pencil which you can rub out is really, really useful. It also means that because it's mechanical, you've always got a consistently sharp, small nib to the pencil, so you're not having to sharpen it every 5 minutes in order for you to get a nice clean line.